Hey everybody, we're back, and so today, lots of stuff happening. A little bit more outside of the field actually than there was on the field. There were a couple of games for the Euros today, and first game was pretty much of a walkover. Portugal wiped the floor with Hungary, and they did what they were supposed to do. Portugal is a very well built team and lots of talent. Or their only weakness is within the center back area because Pepe is old, um, and I mean Ruben Neves is not actually even a liability. He just helped Manchester City win the Premier League and was one of the best players in the league. Actually won the award for Player of the Season. So yeah, I mean that team is a machine, and they're the defending champs for the tournament. So they did what they were supposed to do against a very determined Hungarian side. But yeah, it was just a matter of time before Portugal got the goals they needed to handle that game. But Group F in the Euros is actually quite a very a tough group because you also have the current world champions. So you have the Euro 2016, the Euro 2016 champs, and then you have the World Cup 2018 champs in the same group. And then the World Cup champions from 2014, Germany, is also in that group. So I would imagine that from that group, those three teams will all take a win against Hungary, I imagine. And if that goes that way, all three of those teams will be going into the next round because the best four third place teams in the Euros will move on to the next round. So, that should be an interesting thing to see. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say there besides just Ronaldo murdering records as he always does. And this is his fifth tournament playing in the Euros, Cristiano Ronaldo. Fifth tournament, looking still sharp at age 36, and he's already one of the leading goal scorers with 2 goals that he got in the last 5 or so minutes of that game. One penalty and one another goal in injury time. So Portugal, team to look out for, but I still like France. France is for me the team to watch in this tournament. France's weakness, some people might think I'm disrespectful in saying this. I think the weakness for France is actually their goalkeeper, who's also one of their leaders, Hugo Lloris. That's probably the weakest player in that France team, including players who are on the bench. I think Lloris is one of the weakest players in the team, and then the coach. I think Didier Deschamps is very, very cautious. I think he'd be a really good coach if he was coaching an underdog team. But I think with the level of talent that he has, I think a lot of the time those boys bail him out. He doesn't really take care of the business as much as I would like for him to see. I like to see him do. I mean, he played in the teams he played for France with Zidane and Yuri Chokayev and Thierry Henry, Petru Vieira, Emmanuel Petit, all those dudes. I mean, those teams in the 1990s were playing better than the teams he's coaching. And he has more talent in this team. This is probably one of the most talented international teams of the last 20-something years. And he's too structured and defensive in the way he lets them play. But anyway, people can make up their minds about what they think about Deschamps. But I think France is going to be the team. And they were just much better than Germany. Germany were, formidable, set up in a 3-4-3. And I think actually, as much as Germany have been crap recently, I think Germany will be good in this tournament. And I'll say a few reasons why when I get to them in a little bit. But right now, I just want to talk a little bit about France. They just have players who can hurt you every single position, and they have another guy who's just as good on the bench, if not better in some situations. Because sometimes the coach will pick who he likes in terms of how the team dynamic is supposed to work. But they just have beasts all over the place. And just to name a couple for me, I think up in the front line, MBAPPE is going to be the most important player. even though I think Benzema and Griezmann are the seasoned professionals and who will do their part. Don't get me wrong. They will be very, very strong fronts in the front line, and and then you have Dembele coming off the bench. You have Kingsley Coman coming off the bench. I mean, they're just super loaded. But watching that kid with his pace and skill, and it was unfortunate how he got that goal disallowed. But yeah, I think Kylian Mbappe is going to be one of the players of the tournament. And then behind him, I mean, this guy, I see him play for Manchester United all the time, and he's incredibly infuriating for them. I understand why a lot of people in England get mad at him and don't like him, but my God, Paul Pogba in a France jersey is just next level. Paul Pogba in a France jersey is next level. And, he's just, his passing range and his ability to find, like he can see the game and he reads it quicker than some of the other players on the field. To me, that's a sign of a player who's just incredibly smart, and he makes early reads, and then he's able to back them up with his execution. He played a cross-field pass for one of the chances early in the game that led to the own goal. Like that cross-field pass he played from a corner on the right pocket, and then he kind of like plays it with the outside of his foot to the opposite wing. And I think the left back Hernandez then plays it in, and that's when the own goal is scored by Mats Hummels, who was very unfortunate. But like, not many players can see that play that early and then be able to execute that well. So Paul Pogba's execution is just next level. But I think a lot of the time people don't talk enough about how smart, how intelligent a footballer he is. He's an incredibly intelligent footballer, and the way he exploits defenses is just, yeah, very few can parallel that level. And I think Manchester United players must probably be, pulling their hair when they watch him play for France, because he has moments like that in the United jersey, but he doesn't do it consistently enough. But my goodness, today I just marveled watching him play, and I look forward to seeing him boss the midfield for France. I mean, I'm sure N'Golo Conte helps a lot. I don't want to not, like I said, all the French players are worthy of like high praise. But today, for me, I think Pogba and Mbappe were the two, and I think they will continue to be the two who are the main instigators going the other way. And I think Kante is very important in allowing Pogba to play a little bit higher and with a little bit more freedom. And I think France will benefit from that. And I think moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see if Rabiot keeps his place, or they're going to play with Tolisso, or some of the other guys. I mean, they just have players everywhere that can step in and do the job. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Paul Pogba for his play today. He was incredible. On the Germany side, I know a lot of people are down on Germany right now, and that's to be expected after the terrible World Cup they had in 2018. The embarrassment of losing to Mexico. Not that Mexico are mugs and they can't play the game. Mexico are a great team, but my God, Germany were the defending champs, and then they got knocked out early doors. And nobody expected that, and rightfully so, because Germany, I started watching tournament football in 1990, in the Italia World Cup, in 1990, and Germany won that one. The next one was in the US. Germany was, I don't know how far they went, but I know that Brazil beat Italy in the final. I think Germany lost maybe in the quarterfinal or the semifinal. I don't know. But Germany are just a really good tournament team, even when they have the weak teams. And when I looked at that team today playing in a 3-4-3, yes, they were outplayed, but I think France are going to hurt a lot of teams. So Germany shouldn't be ashamed of that. However, I do think when I saw the French team struggle a little bit in that second half, when Germany were really chasing the game, I think Germany are going to cause a lot of teams problems. You know, with Joshua Kimmich on the right wing back, you have Tony Kroos, who is a smooth operator, who's, you know, super clever. And right next to him, you have Gundogan, another guy who just knows how to just carve defenses open, you know. And then I'm just not sure how the front three would work if you were to move Thomas Muller out of it, you know, because I think Thomas Muller is a guy for me, I think at this stage, who would be helpful for Germany coming off the bench, as a leader, as well as just maybe to make the difference if you need a game changing goal within the last 30 minutes. Then he can play with a bit more intensity. I like the inclusion of Gnabry with Havertz, but I wonder if maybe they could have played with that kid from Chelsea who runs like a headless chicken all the time, to just wear the defenses out and be a counterattack threat. I think that was the only thing I would have changed, from the coach's point of view, with Germany today. It would have been nice to have Werner as the counter-attacking threat, because France were always going to have the ball. So for that reason, I think Germany are going to be a problem, because they just know how to play tournament football. And they have a lot of like really, really good players who have played with each other a lot, you know, because a lot of the German players anyway tend to play in the Bundesliga. So they know each other's game. They grew up together, and then there's a young core coming through now. So, you know, and thankfully for them, Jurgen Löw bringing back some of the old heads, Hummels coming back, Muller coming back, you know, because he left them after the last World Cup. I think it's a good move by him to bring them back to help the youngsters a little bit, because that team lacks experience. So yeah, that's my Euro roundup for today, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because the Euros are very, very much at the moment, you know, the better version of football we're going to see for the next couple of years, because next year the World Cup is going to be in the middle of the season, and it's going to be in Qatar. So I don't even know what quality of football we're going to be seeing during that year, but we'll see. Okay, before I close out this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about some transfer rumors. A couple of rumors I've spoken about recently. There's this kid from Belgium. He's a central midfielder who kind of like, you know, was very good at carrying the ball. Like I was talking about Gundogan just now. He's that kind of player who's very able to operate from deep in midfield, pass the ball really well, can dribble it too. I don't know if you guys were watching the England game. You might have seen a kid named Calvin Phillips for England. He plays for Leeds as well. This kid, Albert Lokonga, Albert Sambi Lokonga, plays for Anderlecht, and Arsenal made a bid this morning, earlier on today, and it was rejected because they offered 15 million euros, and the Belgians want about 20 or so to consider selling. But it sounds like Arsenal could pull that one off. I hope they stop haggling too much and be cheap. I hope they will actually close that deal. If 20 million closes it, just close it. James Maddison. This one is a little bit of a hopeful one from the way I've seen Arsenal operate in this last 10 years or so. James Maddison from Leicester City is a really creative midfielder that I would love to see at Arsenal. But I'm not sure if we can pull it off, to be quite honest. And, you know, I hear that, like, you know, the club is being ambitious and they want to get some stuff done, you know, before preseason starts, which is like basically beginning of July. And Maddison is not at the Euros. So if they're really serious about this, let's see. Maybe this is some of the reason they didn't push too hard for Emi Buendia. Maybe they're looking for somebody who is, you know, experienced at a higher level in that creative role. Let's see what they do. But one of the things that makes me think this is not going to happen, I hope I'm wrong because I want Arsenal to get the best players. But one of the reasons I think this is not going to happen is because Chelsea are also interested in this guy, according to Chris Wheatley, who I trust as a reporter. You know, he rarely gets stuff wrong. I can't remember him, you know, reporting things that are false. And he says Chelsea want this kid, James Maddison, if they're able to sell Hakim Ziyech. So if they sell Hakim Ziyech, they'll be in for Maddison, and that will be curtains for Arsenal. Arsenal cannot compete with Chelsea, not financially. It's been a long time since we were able to buy at the same level or above Chelsea. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not too sure if that one's going to happen. As for Odegaard, there's some not so great news at the moment, because it sounds like the noise from a lot of European leading reporters, Martin Odegaard is likely to stay at Real Madrid because they're old. Their midfielders are quite old. And, he's like 22 years old, Norwegian international. They basically bought Martin Odegaard for a day like this, right? Like, as these guys are old, I know Modric signed a new deal, like a 1-year extension with Madrid, but they are going to basically try and see what they can get from him. I've seen the kid play. He should be walking into that team if they know what they're doing, unless they're desperate for money to buy MBAPPE or desperate for money to buy another one of their top targets. Then maybe they could sell us, but I worry about that situation, because they could fleece us, ask us for ridiculous money. And I hope Arsenal are prepared to walk away. I hope Arsenal negotiate, haggle, but I hope they are prepared to walk away beyond a certain point, so that they're not getting fleeced by Real Madrid and overpaying for him. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is the Ben White situation briefly, and this is the last one I'll say, and then I'll just say my cheers. Ben White is apparently becoming, according to a lot of journalists who cover Arsenal, who are trustworthy, he's becoming a real target for Arsenal. It may be that a deal can be done, especially if Arsenal could manage to work it within their budget. Maybe what they will do is something similar to the Pepe deal, where, they signed Nicolas Pepe for £72 million, but they're paying that deal every year of the contract. So, divide £72 million by 5, I think you're paying something like £15 million or something in that region, give or take a few millions. But like, if they can do something like that, and Brighton, won't be too demanding in terms of like how much Arsenal must pay up front, this looks like a deal they can close. And I'll be honest with you, I think this kid and Saliba are both better than the center backs we have, maybe with the exception of Gabriel. So for me, I'll be more than happy to see this kid come to Arsenal. And I know a lot of fans are worried that this means William Saliba won't be playing for the club, or Arteta doesn't like the kid. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that and try to read into what Arteta might be thinking about any player, because I've seen him, bench Pepe and then turn around and play Pepe a lot. I've seen him also, play Bellerin quite a bit and then sit Bellerin down. So he's a guy who can change his mind about things, and I like that, to be quite honest. I am not too worried about, what Arteta is thinking in terms of like William Saliba. If the kid is worthy of playing for the club, for itself. And if Arteta then decides, club decides that they don't want the kid, then that's on them. Or maybe the kid is not good enough. Only time will tell. But what I will say is that a lot of what I'm hearing and reading about Arsenal and the transfer market this year is really promising. They're not star chasing, which is very, very encouraging, considering, like we've had to lose players like Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. We've lost a lot of star players. And a lot of these guys that Arsenal are being linked with are guys who are still hungry, looking to find their way and make noise and make a name for themselves. And I think it's a great opportunity. If a player is young and hungry and wants to play at one of the best stadiums, one of the best cities in the world, I think Arsenal is a very good project to go and join, because at the moment you will play. if you're good, you will play, because no one player that in that team is really like, you know, I own this position. Everybody is, you know, easily rotatable, if that's a word. You can easily rotate players in that Arsenal team, and next season is going to be the season for people to then, you know, like maybe stamp their claim on a position. So I really do think moving forward, you know, a lot of the players that we're being linked with, if this is the direction, it's going to be really exciting because it's a lot of players without a lot of, you know, baggage. A lot of them are like 24, 25 or younger. So let's see what they do. But I just wanted to come in here real quick. Thank you guys for checking this out, and I look forward to seeing you here soon. All right, cheers.